If there's one thing her family could agree on last spring, it was that 81-year-old Audrey Danard could no longer live alone in her house on Vancouver Island. Her daughter Susan's home had too many stairs, and while the family considered a retirement home, they decided, amidst the pandemic, to go their own way, together, selling Audrey and Susan's homes and moving into a new house, family and all.
And I think you would have to have a family that you're comfortable with and you get along and there's no arguing. That sort of thing. For some reason, we just all click.
As COVID spread rapidly through so many long-term care homes, more and more Canadian families began considering alternatives to assisted living, a kind of generational rethink. When the Ottawa Hospital put this decision aid online to ensure families knew the risks of taking a senior out of long-term care, it was used over 30,000 times.
I certainly have heard stories in many provinces across the country where families have pulled their loved ones out of care. And it could be in the dozens, it could be in the hundreds. I don't necessarily think it's in the thousands.
What Dr. Samir Sinha says we do know is that the waitlist in Ontario has stayed relatively flat, which he says points to Canadians increasingly looking for alternatives.
So a lot of people, I think, have absolutely lost faith in our long-term care system and its ability to keep people safe, especially during a pandemic.
Seniors advocates say the pandemic may have finally spurred long overdue reforms inside long-term care facilities and resulted in something of a consumer correction.
There's a fair amount of research around that shows that about 20% of the people who were in long-term care prior to COVID didn't need to be there.
The Danards certainly fall in that category, but they also know they're fortunate to be in good health and financially secure.
For me, it was just a time to really reflect at the end of the day. You know, what do I want to accomplish in my life? And to be honest, like if I didn't take care of my mom, you know, nothing else would have mattered.
It hasn't necessarily been easy, but the decision was. Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.